Tennessee Titans fans, joint practice happened today between the Tennessee Titans and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers over in Tampa. These two teams are getting set to play each other in preseason football in a couple of days. That is right. The Tennessee Titans take the field in a couple of days. I can't wait. Even though it is just preseason, I can't wait. But the Titans and Bucs had a joint practice today in Tampa, and we're going to be taking a look at some of the reports coming out of that practice, some of the interesting clips coming out of that practice, and kind of the fact that everybody that I'm seeing from the Titans side of things and from the Bucs side of things, including Baker Mayfield, kind of calling this practice 50-50, kind of even. Neither team really dominated the practice, but both teams had their moments. And if you're a Titans fan, I think you like to hear that because the Bucs are good. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are good, and they're clearly the better team. They should be better than the Titans on paper. So for the Titans to go in there in Cam Ward's first bit of action against anyone other than his own teammates and hold their own, I think that's a good thing. I think you walk away saying this was a thumbs up, this joint practice here with Tampa Bay. Even though it wasn't all pretty, there was a lot there to like. We don't hear a lot coming out about Cam Ward in this practice because there was only so many things they could record. We saw some one-on-one stuff. We didn't really get any clips from the team stuff, but we do get reports like this from Paul Kaharski, who said Cam Ward on 3 plays from the 12-yard line, touchdown to Bryce Oliver, touchdown to Chim Dike, and then spiked it. So, first of all, don't think I missed the name Bryce Oliver popping up there. Bryce Oliver having him quite the training camp in preseason here, and Chim Dike too. Good to see the rookie getting involved. But it appears that Cam Ward held his own today. Yes, he had an interception, I believe, on his first drop back in team period, or maybe it's 7-on-7, I don't remember, but he had a interception. But outside of that, we're hearing a lot of good things about how Cam Ward fared today against Tampa Bay. Had some good connections with Calvin Ridley, obviously Bryce Oliver, Chim Dike. I know Buck Rising talked about how Cam had a great connection with Gunnar Helm, the rookie tight end. So I think an encouraging performance from Cam Ward. I think after seeing that he struggled in practice with the Titans last week, he had some days where he struggled. You like to see him going out against an opposing defense for another team and not totally melting down in his first bit of action. He had some good stuff happen. He held his own, and it appeared that he seemed comfortable, according to all reports, and Cam Ward had a nice practice. Not his best practice, not mistake-free football, but it appears that Cam Ward was able to at least get his feet wet a little bit today against Tampa Bay and not drown. And so that is good news. Let's talk about some other players, such as Xavier Restrepo. Xavier Restrepo, who Jim Wyatt, the legend Jim Wyatt, says Xavier Restrepo with some nifty moves for Titans versus Buccaneers. Take a look. Yeah, I mean, it's just a one-on-one route. But Xavier Restrepo is an interesting character in this Titans saga because a lot of Titans fans have their hearts set on Xavier Restrepo. They have their hearts set on him. They love his story, undrafted. They love the connection to Cam, and I do too. And I think Xavier Restrepo could make the roster. But I am starting to doubt it a little bit. I'm starting to doubt it because I think 6 wide receivers are already a lock. With Oliver, I think, now being a lock to make the roster. And I'm wondering if James Proche may be becoming, if there's an option for a 7th guy, is it going to be him because of what he brings in terms of special teams and being a punt returner? I saw Buck Rising today that it really looks like he is by far the best punt returner on the team. Makes me wonder if he has the edge on this thing over Xavier Restrepo. I know the fans have really taken to Restrepo a lot and really like him, but I'm starting to wonder if it's going to turn into sort of a Mason Kinsey type situation where like the fans love him and the fans are all about him, but he just never quite makes it past the practice squad. I don't know. I like the guy. I hope he has a great preseason. We'll see what he does. But Xavier Restrepo doing some nice things today, according to the reports. Speaking of doing some nice things, check this out from Ellio Manor. Yeah, buddy. And I think there may have been another one for him. Yeah, here's Ellio Manor again in one-on-one. Ooh, that's nice. Nice route. So you guys know how I feel about Ellio Manor. I am very excited about him. I was so happy the Titans were able to get him at all, but especially where they got him at the end of the 4th round. And I think he could be a sneaky weapon for this team. You're hearing a lot about how he is just getting better and better in the Titans practices. And then in this joint practice today, he had a nice practice. I know we only see clips of the one-on-ones. We don't get to see the team period stuff, but I'm so excited about Ellio Manor. I'm excited about Chimere DK and Gunnar Helm too, but I'm really excited about Ellio Manor because his size, his speed, you see his route running, his strength. I just think he brings a lot to the table, and I'm very, very excited about him, especially after watching clips of him doing some good stuff in practice, not just today from the joint practice. Like I said, all we're getting from that today is just clips of one-on-ones, but what we've been hearing about him in practice and how he's coming along, big believer in him, and I hope that he turns out to really sneak up on some people this season that maybe aren't as familiar with him because he got picked in the 4th round. I'm very excited about him. Very excited about him, and apparently he had a good practice today. Let's talk about this. We had a little brawl going on. As you can see, we got sidelines emptying. We got, it's kind of from far away. Looks like it had kind of calmed down by now.
Hey, go.
But yeah, there was some pushing and shoving going on today. It got a little chippy between the Titans and the Bucs, including a brawl that had everybody from both sides coming off of the sideline and getting involved, and I think it was quickly dissipated. A lot of people are talking about this on social media. I think it's pretty par for the course. I mean, these guys have been going against their own teammates for months now. They're going against other guys. They're excited to be out there. I know there was a clip of Jeffrey Simmons getting into it with a guy. A lot of debate going on today about whether Simmons did as bad in that rep that is circulating on social media as people are saying he did. He did get shoved to the ground, but there are people making the argument. If you've seen the clip, you know what I'm talking about. There was a rep with Jeffrey Simmons going against, I believe, the center for Tampa Bay, and Jeff pushed him into the backfield, and then he pulled Jeff down to the ground. A lot of people are saying Jeff really lost that rep bad. Some people are making the argument he won it. Jeff, please weigh in and tell us, just be honest with us. But anyway, the fight and everything that I'm sure Jeff was in the middle of that too. I know it's par for the course, and it happens, and especially in training camp, these guys are excited to go against somebody other than their own teammates. But I like to see the Titans with some spunk. I'm not going to lie. I'm not a fighter myself, but I like to see the Titans with some spunk. I like to see the Titans with some swagger and some attitude. I like to see the Titans fighting for each other and fighting for themselves, having fun and pushing and shoving and doing those things after watching them be so lifeless for much of last season. It's good to see some spunk and some fire out of the Titans. I don't know how the fight started. I don't know what caused it. I don't know what finished it. I don't know. But good to see the Titans with some fire and a little bit of seasoning there. Speaking of, wild scene at Bucs Titans joint practice as Tennessee cornerback Jarvis Brownley walked over to the Bucs fans in the stands who were taunting him and had to be restrained by security and Titans coaches. Now listen, some people are going to have mixed feelings about this. First of all, I want to know what the fans said to him, because sometimes you say something that's worthy of getting your butt whooped, you get your butt whooped, I'm just going to go ahead and say I kind of like the Titans having a guy like this. I kind of like now once the season gets here, Jarvis Brownley, he's got to keep it under control. You don't want penalties. You don't want suspensions. You don't want anything crazy like that. He's got to keep it under control, but for the time being, I'm not going to pretend that I'm not intrigued by having a guy on the team that's just got a little bit of nasty in him. You know what I'm saying? Now, I don't want it to get to the point where we're getting penalized every play for personal fouls, but I'm glad somebody out there cares. Like I said, after last season, watching dudes just look like they were lifeless, man, I kind of like to see somebody going a little crazy, going a little Ron Artest, go a little Malice in the Palace, baby. I mean, come on. They gonna talk back to them. I'm telling you, every defense needs at least one guy that could snap at any moment. You know what I'm saying? Like Legion of Boom with Richard Sherman. Like, you knew that man, he could go nuts at any moment and do something crazy. I think every defense kind of needs that guy. And so I like Jarvis Brownley going into year 2 and being like, listen, man, I'm out of my mind right now. I'll go crazy. I'll be Ron Artest if I got to be Ron Artest. Now, again, got to keep it under control. We don't want penalties. We don't want suspensions or anything crazy like that. But I kind of like having a dude like, kind of got that Cortland Finnegan for all you Titans fans in that reference. Kind of just got that crazy look in his eye. I kind of like that. I kind of like it. Just got to keep it under control. And last but not least, going back to Jarvis Brownley, Bucs wide receiver Emeka Egbuka lined up as the X receiver, and as he crossed the middle of the field coming his way, he got laid out by Titans cornerback Jarvis Brownley. So this is one of those things we don't know. We haven't seen the clip. But I hope that it wasn't a penalty. My gut feeling is if a receiver's running across the middle of the field and gets laid out, it's probably going to be a penalty in today's NFL. But if Jarvis can dial back just a little bit and not get too out of control to where he's costing the team with penalties and stuff like that, I'm down to have a hard hitter. I'm down to have a hard hitter who might get in somebody's face sometimes and go a little nuts. I'm down with that. I hope it was a clean hit. But in today's NFL, what is that? What is a clean hit? Because a clean hit nowadays is just letting them catch the ball. But anyway, a lot of good stuff coming out of the Titans practice today, especially after last weekend when they had that really bad practice. When I saw the reports of that, I was like, man, what's this joint practice with Tampa Bay going to be like? Like, they got a good squad over there. But it looks like the Titans held their own. And that's a good sign with a young team and young guys stepping up and a young quarterback, very young quarterback, obviously. I'll take holding my own with Tampa Bay and having a 50-50. No problem with that. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Tighten up, everybody. Bye.